What if I told you that the single most powerful force shaping your future wasn't your past, but something you actually have control over right here, right now? Today, we are diving into a really powerful idea, the sovereignty of your thought, and why what's going on inside your head might just be your true destiny. It all kicks off with this really simple, but honestly, pretty profound statement. Your background isn't destiny, your thinking is. That one sentence, it challenges a belief that so many of us carry around, maybe without even realizing it, that where we come from completely dictates where we're going. But what if that's not the whole story?
So let's start by looking at this kind of unwritten rule we all seem to live by. The idea that our past has already drawn the map for our future. It's a feeling that can be incredibly limiting, right? And it's something I think a lot of us wrestle with.
No, really, think about that for a second. Have you ever felt that because of, your family or the town you grew up in or some mistake you made years ago, that certain doors were just closed to you? It's such a common feeling, this sense that the script was finalized before we even got a chance to act.
So, to really challenge this idea, we first have to understand what background even means. It's a word we hear all the time, but what's it actually made of? Let's deconstruct it.
When you break it down, our background is really just a collection of stories. It's where we grew up, the family narratives we inherited, our school experiences, and a highlight reel of our biggest wins and probably our most painful losses. And all of those things, together, they form this really powerful narrative about who we think we are.
And here's the danger, right? When that narrative is just running on autopilot in the back of our minds, it starts to feel like an invisible cage. It sets boundaries not on what's actually possible for us, but on what we believe is possible. And the bars of that cage, they're forged from our own memories and assumptions.
This really shows the fundamental choice that we all have. You've got the fixed mindset, which says, my background defines me. It's like a final verdict. But then there's the growth mindset, which sees it differently. It says, my background informs me. It gives you context, it gives you lessons, but it doesn't write the final chapter. And that tiny shift, from defines to informs, well, that's everything.
And this brings us to the most empowering part of this whole idea. If the past isn't in charge, then what is? Well, this is where we get to the concept of sovereignty of thought, and it is the real key to unlocking your future.
So sovereign thought, what is it? It's your power to basically be the ruler of your own mind. It's the ability to consciously choose how you respond to things, what perspective you're going to take, and what you decide to believe about yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what your history looks like or what's happening around you. It's not about ignoring your past, it's just about refusing to be a prisoner of it.
And that brings us right back to the second half of that quote we started with. Your background isn't your destiny, your thinking is. This is the active ingredient. This is the part you control. It's like the steering wheel was in your hands the whole time.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? How does something as intangible as a thought actually shape your tangible reality? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a pretty practical, logical process.
Let's walk through it. Imagine someone believes, deep down, I am just not good with technology. Okay, that's step one, the internal belief. So what happens when they're faced with new software? Their action, step two, is probably to avoid it or give up super easily. And the result, step three, they stay unskilled with that technology. And see, that outcome reinforces their original belief. See, I knew I was bad at this, in a negative loop. But what if they chose a new thought, I am capable of learning new skills? That new belief drives a totally different action. They watch tutorials, they practice, they ask for help. This leads to a new result. They actually learn the software. And that success? It powerfully reinforces that new, empowering belief.
The most important thing to get here is that this is a real-world feedback loop. Thoughts influence actions. Actions create results. And those results circle back to reinforce the original thought. This cycle can work for you, or it can work against you. And it all starts with that initial thought you choose to believe.
Okay, so let's bring all this home. Let's talk about the most important parts, your next chapter. How do you take this idea and actually apply it to start writing your own destiny? Like, starting right now.
When you boil it all down, it comes down to this choice. You can see your background as an anchor. Something heavy that just holds you in one spot, forever tethered to where you've been. Or you can see your thinking as a rudder. Your past is just the water you're in, but your thoughts, that's what steers the ship.
It lets you navigate toward any destination you choose.
Look, if you take only one thing away from our chat today, please let it be this. Your past might have written the preface, but you are holding the pen now. You are the narrator of your own story, and you get to decide what happens next.
So, I'll leave you with a final question to think about. And don't try to rewrite your entire belief system overnight. That's way too much pressure. Just start with one thing. What is one limiting thought, one that's rooted in your past, that you could choose to change today? Because that one small shift could be the start of a completely new story.